They told you that paying off your house was the ultimate goal. They said once the house is paid off, you're set. They said no mortgage means no stress. They said that's real financial freedom. So you worked for decades. You skipped vacations, you drove old cars, you threw every extra dollar at the mortgage. And finally, you did it. The house is paid off. No monthly payment, no bank owning your home. But something still feels off. Money still feels tight. You're nervous about retirement. One medical bill or big repair still scares you. And you start wondering something that feels almost wrong to say. How can I own my house outright and still not feel rich? That's the part nobody talks about because a paid off house looks amazing on paper, but in real life, it can quietly become one of the most dangerous assets you own. Not because owning a home is bad, not because debt is good, but because a paid off house can trap your wealth, limit your options, and create a false sense of security if you don't understand how it actually works. This video is about why a paid off house can hold you back financially, and what most Americans misunderstand about home ownership. No hype, no tricks, just real talk, real numbers, and real life. I'm Ryan. My goal is to make finance simple, practical, and stress-free. I'm not here to give you some quick get-rich scheme, but I promise you, you will get massive value from this video. Point number 1. They told you a paid-off house means freedom, but it can lock your money in one place. They told you that once your house is paid off, life gets easier. No mortgage, no bank payment, no stress. So you pushed hard. You sent extra checks to the lender. You ignored other options. You made pay off the house the main goal. And now the loan is gone. But here's the problem no one explains clearly. A paid off house feels safe, but it doesn't help you pay bills. Your house doesn't send you a paycheck. It doesn't cover groceries. It doesn't pay medical bills. All your money is sitting in the walls. This is called illiquidity, but let's say in plain English, your money is trapped. If something goes wrong, you lose your job, you retire. Medical costs show up. A big repair hits. You can't just grab cash from your house. To use that money, you have to sell the house, take a loan, or open a line of credit. None of those are fast or stress-free. And here's the part that surprises people. Even with no mortgage, owning a house is not cheap. You still pay property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. A roof doesn't care if your house is paid off. Neither does the water heater. For many Americans, that's $8,000 to $15,000 a year just to keep the house standing. So even though the loan is gone, the cash stress stays. Another quiet issue? A paid-off house can make people feel too comfortable. They stop saving as aggressively. They stop investing. They think, at least we have the house. But a house doesn't grow like investments do. Historically, home prices mostly just keep up with inflation after costs. That means your biggest asset might not be growing fast enough to support retirement. So what happens? People reach their 60s with a paid-off house, low cash savings, small investment accounts. They're house rich and cash poor. That's the danger. Not owning the house, but owning too much house and not enough flexibility. A paid-off home is great for stability, but if it becomes your only plan, it can quietly limit your options. That's the first risk most homeowners never see coming. Point number 2. They told you paying off the house was low risk. They never told you about the opportunity cost. They told you throwing extra money at your mortgage was the safest move. No risk, guaranteed return, peace of mind. So every bonus, every raise, every extra dollar went straight into the house. And yes, that does lower stress. But here's what nobody breaks down clearly. Money can be safe and still cost you a lot. When you pay extra on a low-interest mortgage, you're locking money into something that grows very slowly. Most mortgages in the US are around 3 to 6% interest. Paying them off early gives you a return roughly equal to that rate. That's not bad, But it's also not the only option. Long-term diversified investments have historically grown faster than home equity, even after ups and downs. That doesn't mean investing is guaranteed. It means you're choosing certainty over potential growth, and that choice has a price. This is called opportunity cost. But let's keep it simple. Money you lock into your house can't do anything else. It can't grow in the market, create income, help with emergencies. It just sits there. Another issue most people miss is balance. When too much of your net worth is tied up in one house, you're exposed to one local market, one property, one location. If home prices stall or fall in your area, a big chunk of your wealth is stuck. And unlike stocks or bonds, you can't sell part of your house to rebalance. You either own it or you don't. There's also a timing risk. Many Americans rush to pay off their house right before retirement. Then retirement hits, income drops, expenses stay, and suddenly cash matters more than ever. That's when people realize they needed income producing assets, not just a paid off roof. A house reduces expenses. It does not replace income. That difference matters. This doesn't mean paying off your house is wrong. It means paying it off at the cost of everything else can be risky. Real security comes from balance. Some home equity, some liquid savings, some investments. That way, no single asset has to carry your entire future. Point number 3. They told you a paid off house means safety, but it can kill your flexibility. They told you that once the house is paid off, you're safe. No landlord, no bank, no monthly payment. And that does feel good. But here's the part nobody prepares you for. A paid off house can quietly limit your options, especially later in life. Because when most of your wealth is stuck in your home, your choices shrink. If you want to retire earlier, work less, change careers, help family, handle health issues, you need cash flow, not just walls and a roof. And this is where a lot of Americans get stuck. They own their home outright, but their income is low, their savings are thin, their investments are small. So even with no mortgage, they still feel anxious. Why? Because life doesn't accept home equity as payment. Hospitals want cash. Groceries want cash. Freedom needs cash. And accessing home equity usually means taking on new debt, paying fees, or selling and moving. None of those are easy decisions, especially under stress. Another issue is overconfidence. A paid-off house can make people feel done. They slow down investing, they stop building cash reserves, they think the house will handle everything. But a house can't adjust to inflation, pay monthly income, grow aggressively. It just sits there. And if taxes, insurance, or repairs rise, which they usually do, your free house still costs real money every year. The most financially secure households don't rely on one big asset. They spread risk. They have a home for stability, cash for emergencies, investments for growth and income. That balance gives them options. Here's the real takeaway. A paid-off house is not bad, but treating it as the ultimate goal can be dangerous. The goal isn't just owning a home. The goal is freedom, flexibility, and control. And that comes from having money that moves, not money that's stuck. If your house is paid off and you have cash flow and investments, that's powerful. If the house is all you have, it can quietly hold you back. That's the risk most people never talk about.